Question 1. Mrs. Thompson has recently purchased a new home in Seattle, Washington, and wants to ensure it is adequately covered. She is interested in a homeowner's insurance policy that provides comprehensive coverage for her dwelling, personal property, and liability. Mrs. Thompson also wants to understand any potential exclusions or limitations in her policy. Which type of homeowner's insurance policy should Mrs. Thompson consider to provide the broadest coverage for her needs? A. HO2 broad form. B. HO3 special form. C. HO4 contents broad form. D. HO6 unitowner's form. Question 2. Which of the following principles ensures that an insurance contract is legally enforceable by requiring the insured to have a financial stake in the insured property? A. Indemnity. B. Utmost good faith. C. Insurable interest. D. Subrogation. Question 3. Under the Washington personal auto policy, which coverage part is responsible for paying medical expenses for the policyholder and their passengers, regardless of fault, following an auto accident? A. Part A. Liability coverage. B. Part B. Medical payments coverage. C. Part C. Uninsured underinsured motorist coverage. D. Part D. Coverage for damage to your auto. Question 4. Which type of inland marine insurance provides coverage for high-value items such as jewelry, furs, and fine art? A. Personal effects coverage. B. Personal articles floater. C. Personal property floater. D. Valuable personal property coverage. Question 5. In the context of personal auto policy, PAP, in Washington, what is the main purpose of uninsured underinsured motorist coverage? Part C. To cover medical expenses for the insured regardless of fault. B. To pay for damage to the insured's vehicle caused by an uninsured driver. C. To provide liability coverage for bodily injury and property damage. D. To cover the insured's legal expenses in case of a lawsuit. Question 6. Which principle of insurance requires that the policyholder and the insurer act honestly and disclose all relevant information? A. Indemnity. B. Insurable interest. C. Utmost good faith. D. Subrogation. Question 7. Which coverage part of a homeowner's insurance policy provides protection for detached structures on the insured's property, such as a garage or shed? A. Coverage dwelling. B. Coverage B. Other structures. C. Coverage C. Personal property. D. Coverage D. Loss of use. Question 8. Which of the following is NOT typically covered under a personal umbrella policy? A. Liability claims that exceed the limits of underlying policies. B. Claims related to defamation or libel. C. Personal injury claims. D. Property damage to the insured's own home. Question 9. Under the National Flood Insurance Program, NFIP, what is the primary purpose of increased cost of compliance? Coverage. A. To pay for the repair of flood-damaged property. B. To cover additional living expenses during repairs. C. To help property owners meet the cost of complying with local floodplain management laws. D. To reimburse for personal property losses. Question 10. Which type of dwelling policy provides the broadest coverage, including coverage for the dwelling, other structures, personal property, fair rental value, and additional living expenses? A. DEPA 1 basic form. B. DEPA 2 broad form. C. D3 special form. D. DEPA 4 tenant form. Question 11. What is the primary purpose of the deductible in an earthquake insurance policy? A. To reduce the premium cost for the insured. B. To eliminate coverage for minor losses. C. To provide additional coverage for structural damage. D. To cover the full amount of damages. Question 12. Which principle of insurance is demonstrated when an insurer seeks to recover the amount paid on a claim from a third party responsible for the loss? A. Indemnity. B. Subrogation. C. Insurable interest. D. Utmost good faith. Question 13. Under the Washington personal auto policy, what action should a policyholder take immediately after an accident to comply with the duties after an accident or loss provision? A. Contact their insurance agent. B. File a lawsuit against the at-fault driver. C. Seek reimbursement for medical expenses. D. Report the accident to the Department of Motor Vehicles. Question 14. Which coverage part of a homeowner's insurance policy specifically addresses the additional costs incurred when the insured cannot use their home due to covered loss? A. Coverage of dwelling. B. Coverage B. Other structures. C. Coverage C. Personal property. D. Coverage D. Loss of use. Question 15. Which of the following is an exclusion commonly found in personal umbrella policies? A. Bodily injury liability. B. Property damage liability. C. Intentional acts. D. Personal injury liability. Question 16. What type of inland marine insurance provides coverage for personal property that is frequently moved or transported, such as cameras or musical instruments? Personal effects coverage. B. Personal articles floater. C. Personal property floater. D. Valuable personal property coverage. Question 17. Which of the following is NOT typically a coverage provided under a standard flood insurance policy through the National Flood Insurance Program, NFIP? A. Building property coverage. B. Personal property coverage. C. Additional living expenses coverage. D. Increased cost to compliance coverage. Question 18. What is the primary purpose of a deductible in a homeowner's insurance policy? A. To reduce the overall coverage limit. B. To eliminate coverage for certain types of losses. C. To lower the premium cost for the policyholder. D. To increase the policyholder's out-of-pocket expenses. Question 19. Which of the following types of watercraft insurance coverage provides protection for physical damage to the insured's boat? A. Liability coverage. B. Medical payments coverage. C. Uninsured boaters coverage. D. Physical damage coverage. Question 20. Which principle of insurance states that the insured should not profit from a loss but should be restored to their financial position prior to the loss? A. Subrogation. B. Indemnity. C. Insurable interest. D. Utmost good faith. Question 21. Under Washington insurance law, which of the following is considered an unfair trade practice? A. Denying a claim based on insufficient coverage. B. Misrepresenting policy terms and conditions. C. Adjusting claims promptly and fairly. D. Charging premiums based on risk factors. Question 22. Which type of homeowner's insurance policy is specifically designed for renters to cover their personal property and liability? A. HO2, broad form. B. HO3, special form. C. HO4, contents broad form. D. HO6, unit owner's form. Question 23. Which principle of insurance ensures that the insurer can recover the amount paid on a claim from the party responsible for the loss? A. Indemnity. B. Subrogation. C. Insurable interest. D. Utmost good faith. Question 24. What type of inland marine insurance provides coverage for high-value personal property such as jewelry that is frequently moved? A. Personal effects coverage. B. Personal articles floater. C. Personal property floater. D. Valuable personal property coverage. Question 25. Under Washington insurance law, what is required for an insurance contract to be legally binding? A. A witness signature. B. A notarized document. C. Consideration, offer, and acceptance. D. A written statement of intent. Question 26. Which type of watercraft insurance coverage provides protection if the insured's boat is involved in an accident with an uninsured boater? A. Liability coverage. B. Medical payments coverage. C. Uninsured boaters coverage. D. Physical damage coverage. Question 27. Which of the following is NOT typically covered under a personal umbrella policy? Liability claims exceeding underlying policy limits. B. Legal defense costs. C. Intentional acts causing harm. D. Personal injury claims. Question 28. Which coverage part of a homeowner's insurance policy covers the personal belongings of the insured? A. Coverage of his dwelling. B. Coverage B. Other structures. C. Coverage C. Personal property. D. Coverage D. Loss of use. Question 29. which principle of insurance requires both parties to disclose all material facts and act honestly? Indemnity. B. Subrogation. C. Insurable interest. D. Utmost good faith. Question 30. Which type of personal auto policy coverage pays for the medical expenses of the insured and passengers, regardless of fault? A. Liability coverage. Part of B. Medical payments coverage. Part B. C. Uninsured underinsured motorist coverage. Part C. D. Coverage for damage to your auto. Part D. Correct answer. B. HO3 Special Form. Explanation. The HO3 policy, or special form, provides the broadest coverage among standard homeowners insurance policies. It offers low-end perils coverage on the dwelling, meaning it covers all risks except those explicitly excluded, and named perils coverage on personal property. This policy covers a wide range of risks, including fire, theft, and liability, making it suitable for homeowners seeking comprehensive protection. In Washington, typical exclusions may include floods and earthquakes, which require additional endorsements or separate policies. Correct answer. C. Insurable interest. Explanation. Insurable interest is a fundamental principle of insurance that ensures the insured has a financial stake in the insured property or person. This principle prevents moral hazard and ensures that insurance contracts are legally enforceable. Without insurable interest, a policyholder could potentially benefit from a loss in which they have no financial involvement, undermining the integrity of the insurance system. In Washington, like in other states, having an insurable interest at the time of policy issuance and at the time of loss is crucial for a valid claim. Correct answer. B. Part B. Medical payments coverage. Explanation. Part B. Medical payments coverage of the personal auto policy, PAP, provides coverage for medical expenses incurred by the policyholder and their passengers following an auto accident, regardless of who is at fault. This coverage is essential for covering immediate medical costs such as hospital visits, surgeries, and rehabilitation. In Washington, this coverage helps ensure that medical expenses are promptly addressed without waiting for fault determination, offering peace of mind and financial protection for policyholders and their passengers. Correct answer. B. Personal Articles Floater. Explanation. A personal articles floater, PAF, is a type of inland marine insurance that provides coverage for high-value items such as jewelry, furs, and fine art. It offers broader coverage than standard homeowners or renters insurance policies, typically on an open perils basis, meaning it covers all risks except those specifically excluded. In Washington, this coverage is crucial for individuals owning valuable personal items, as it ensures adequate protection against loss or damage. Correct answer. B. To pay for damage to the insured's vehicle caused by an uninsured driver. Explanation. Uninsured underinsured motorist coverage, Part C, in the personal auto policy, PAP, protects the insured if they are involved in an accident with a driver who does not have sufficient insurance to cover the damages. This coverage pays for bodily injury and property damage that the uninsured or underinsured driver would be responsible for. In Washington, this coverage is essential for protecting policyholders from financial loss due to accidents involving inadequately insured drivers. Correct answer. C. Utmost good faith. Explanation. Utmost good faith is a principle in insurance that requires both the policyholder and the insurer to act honestly and disclose all material facts relevant to the insurance contract. This principle ensures transparency and trust between the parties, facilitating fair underwriting and claims processes. In Washington, like in other states, failing to adhere to this principle can result in policy voidance or denial of claims. Correct answer. B. Coverage B. Other structures. Explanation. Coverage B. Other structures. In a homeowner's insurance, policy provides protection for structures on the insured's property that are not attached to the main dwelling, such as a detached garage, shed, or fence. This coverage is essential for ensuring that these structures are protected against covered perils like fire, theft, and vandalism. In Washington, this coverage helps homeowners maintain their property value and financial security. Correct answer. D. Property damage to the insured's own home. Explanation. A personal umbrella policy provides additional liability coverage beyond the limits of the insured's underlying policies, such as homeowners or auto insurance. It covers liability claims for bodily injury, property damage, and personal injury, including defamation and libel. However, it does not cover property damage to the insured's own home, as this is typically covered under a homeowner's insurance policy. In Washington, an umbrella policy helps protect against significant liability claims that could otherwise deplete the insured's assets. Correct answer: C. To help property owners meet the cost of complying with local floodplain management laws. Explanation: increased cost of compliance, coverage under the National Flood Insurance Program. NFIP helps property owners pay for the cost of bringing their buildings into compliance with local floodplain management laws and regulations. This may include elevating, relocating, or demolishing the building to reduce future flood risk. In Washington, ICC coverage is crucial for property owners in flood-prone areas to mitigate future damage and comply with local building codes. Correct answer: C. DPIT 3 Special Form. Explanation: the DPIT 3 policy, or special form, provides the broadest coverage among dwelling policies. It offers open perils coverage for the dwelling and other structures, meaning it covers all risks except those specifically excluded, and named perils coverage for personal property. Additionally, it includes coverage for fair rental value and additional living expenses. In Washington, this policy is ideal for property owners seeking comprehensive protection for their investment properties. Correct answer: B. To eliminate coverage for minor losses. Explanation: the primary purpose of the deductible in an earthquake insurance policy is to eliminate coverage for minor losses and reduce the premium cost for the insured. Deductibles are typically a percentage of the insured property's value and ensure that the policyholder shares a portion of the risk. In Washington, where earthquakes are a potential risk, having a deductible helps manage the cost of insurance and encourages policyholders to take preventive measures to reduce minor damages. Correct answer: B. Subrogation. Explanation: subrogation is the principle of insurance that allows an insurer to seek recovery of the amount paid on a claim from a third party responsible for the loss. This principle helps insurers manage losses and maintain the financial stability of the insurance pool. In Washington, subrogation ensures that the party responsible for the loss ultimately bears the financial burden rather than the insured or the insurer. Correct answer: A. Contact their insurance agent. Explanation: under the Washington personal auto policy, the duties after an accident or loss provision requires the policyholder to promptly notify their insurance agent or company after an accident. This step is crucial for initiating the claims process, ensuring proper documentation, and complying with policy terms. Reporting the accident helps the insurer begin the investigation and provide the necessary assistance to the policyholder. Correct answer: D. Coverage D. Loss of use. Explanation: Coverage D. Loss of use in a homeowner's insurance policy addresses the additional living expenses incurred when the insured cannot use their home due to covered loss. This coverage includes costs for temporary housing, meals, and other living expenses while the home is being repaired or rebuilt. In Washington, this coverage is essential for maintaining the insured's standard of living during the recovery period after a loss. Correct answer: C. Intentional acts. Explanation: intentional acts are commonly excluded from personal umbrella policies. Insurance is designed to cover accidental and unforeseen events, not intentional harm or damage caused by the policyholder. Including such exclusions helps maintain the integrity and financial stability of the insurance pool. In Washington, like in other states, policyholders must understand that intentional acts will not be covered by their umbrella policy. Correct answer: C. Personal property floater. Explanation: a personal property floater provides coverage for personal property that is frequently moved or transported, such as cameras, musical instruments, and sports equipment. This type of inland marine insurance offers broader protection than standard homeowners or renters policies and typically covers all risks except those specifically excluded. In Washington, this coverage is ideal for individuals who regularly travel with or use valuable personal items outside their homes. Correct answer: C. Additional living expenses coverage. Explanation: a standard flood insurance policy through the National Flood Insurance Program, NFIP, does not typically provide additional living expenses coverage. This coverage, which includes temporary housing and related costs, is not part of standard flood insurance but may be available through other types of insurance or endorsements. In Washington, homeowners in flood-prone areas should be aware of this limitation and consider additional coverage options if needed. Correct answer: C. To lower the premium cost for the policyholder. Explanation: The primary purpose of a deductible in a homeowner's insurance policy is to lower the premium cost for the policyholder. By agreeing to pay a portion of the loss out of pocket before the insurance coverage kicks in, policyholders can reduce their premium expenses. In Washington, like in other states, choosing a higher deductible can significantly reduce the cost of insurance, but it also means that the policyholder will bear more of the financial burden in the event of a claim. Correct answer: D. Physical damage coverage. Explanation: Physical damage coverage in a watercraft insurance policy provides protection for physical damage to the insured's boat, including the hull, motor, and other equipment. This coverage typically includes risks such as collision, theft, and vandalism. In Washington, this coverage is essential for boat owners to protect their investment and ensure financial security in the event of damage to their watercraft. Correct answer: B. Indemnity. Explanation: The principle of indemnity states that the insured should not profit from a loss but should be restored to their financial position prior to the loss. This principle ensures that insurance compensates for actual losses and prevents moral hazard. In Washington, as in other states, indemnity is a core concept in insurance contracts, ensuring that claims are fair and equitable. Correct answer: B. Misrepresenting policy terms and conditions. Explanation: Misrepresenting policy terms and conditions is considered an unfair trade practice under Washington insurance law. This practice involves providing false or misleading information about the coverage, benefits, or exclusions of an insurance policy, which can deceive consumers and lead to improper decisions. The Washington State Office of the Insurance Commissioner regulates and enforces laws to protect consumers from such unfair practices and ensure a fair insurance market. Correct answer: C. H04, Contents Broad Form. Explanation: The H04 policy, or Contents Broad Form, is designed specifically for renters, provides coverage for personal property and liability, but does not cover the dwelling structure itself, as this is typically the landlord's responsibility. In Washington, renters need an H04 policy to protect their belongings and provide liability coverage for incidents that occur within their rented space. Correct answer: B. Subrogation. Explanation: Subrogation is the principle of insurance that allows the insurer to recover the amount paid on a claim from the party responsible for the loss. This principle helps insurers manage their losses and maintain the financial stability of the insurance pool. In Washington, subrogation ensures that the responsible party bears the financial burden of the loss rather than the insured or the insurer. Correct answer: B. Personal articles floater. Explanation: A personal articles floater, PAF, provides coverage for high-value personal property such as jewelry that is frequently moved. This type of inland marine insurance offers broader protection than standard homeowners or renters policies and typically covers all risks except those specifically excluded. In Washington, a personal articles floater is ideal for individuals owning valuable items that need protection both at home and while traveling. Correct answer: C. Consideration, offer, and acceptance. Explanation: For an insurance contract to be legally binding under Washington insurance law, it must include consideration, something of value exchanged, an offer, a proposal to enter into the contract, and acceptance, agreement to the terms. These elements ensure that the contract is valid and enforceable. Without them, the contract lacks the legal foundation necessary to hold the parties accountable. Correct answer: C. Uninsured boaters coverage. Explanation: Uninsured boaters coverage provides protection if the insured's boat is involved in an accident with an uninsured boater. This coverage ensures that the insured is compensated for bodily injury and property damage caused by a boater who does not have sufficient insurance. In Washington, this coverage is crucial for protecting boat owners from financial loss due to accidents with uninsured or underinsured boaters. Correct answer: C. Intentional acts causing harm. Explanation: Intentional acts causing harm are typically not covered under a personal umbrella policy. Insurance is designed to cover accidental and unforeseen events, not intentional harm or damage caused by the policyholder. In Washington, like in other states, policyholders must understand that intentional acts will not be covered by their umbrella policy as it helps maintain the integrity and financial stability of the insurance pool. Correct answer: C. Coverage C. Personal property. Explanation: Coverage C. Personal property in a homeowner's insurance policy covers the personal belongings of the insured. This coverage includes items such as furniture, clothing, and electronics, providing protection against risks like fire, theft, and vandalism. In Washington, this coverage is essential for homeowners to ensure that their personal property is protected both inside and outside their home. Correct answer: D. Utmost good faith. Explanation: utmost good faith is a principle of insurance that requires both parties to disclose all material facts and act honestly. This principle ensures transparency and trust between the policyholder and the insurer, facilitating fair underwriting and claims processes. In Washington, like in other states, adhering to this principle is crucial for maintaining the integrity of insurance contracts and preventing fraud. Correct answer: B. Medical payments coverage, Part B. Explanation: medical payments coverage, Part B, in a personal auto policy pays for the medical expenses of the insured and passengers, regardless of fault. This coverage helps cover the costs of medical treatment, hospitalization, and funeral expenses resulting from an auto accident. In Washington, this coverage is essential for ensuring that medical expenses are covered promptly regardless of who caused the accident. Question 31. What is the main purpose of uninsured underinsured motorist coverage in a personal auto policy? A. To cover the cost of vehicle repairs regardless of fault. B. To pay for the insured's legal defense costs. C. To provide coverage when the at-fault driver lacks sufficient insurance. D. To cover medical expenses for passengers in the insured's vehicle. Question 32. Which of the following is typically excluded from coverage under a homeowner's insurance policy? A. Fire damage. B. Theft of personal property. C. Flood damage. D. Liability for injuries to others. Question 33. Under Washington law, which of the following is a requirement for obtaining a personal lines insurance license? A. Completion of a pre-licensing education course. B. A minimum of 5 years of industry experience. C. Submission of a notarized application. D. Participation in a community service program. Question 34. Which type of homeowner's insurance policy is typically used for condominiums? A. HA2, broad form. B. HA3, special form. C. HA4, contents broad form. D. HA6, unit owner's form. Question 35. Scenario: Sarah owns a house in Washington and has a homeowner's insurance policy with a coverage of limit of $300,000. Her house is damaged by a covered peril and the estimated repair cost is $250,000. However, the replacement cost of her house is $400,000. How much will her insurance company pay for the repairs? A. $250,000. B. $300,000. C. $400,000. D. $150,000. Question 36. Which of the following is NOT typically covered under an inland marine insurance policy? A. Jewelry. B. Fine art. C. Automobiles. D. Musical instruments. Question 37. Which type of insurance policy provides excess liability coverage beyond the limits of underlying policies, such as homeowners and auto insurance? A. Personal umbrella policy. B. HA3, special form. C. Personal articles floater. D. DPIT 3, special form. Question 38. Which of the following is considered a peril covered under a standard homeowner's insurance policy? A. Earthquake. B. War. C. Fire. D. Flood. Question 39. Under Washington law, how long does an insurer have to acknowledge receipt of a claim? A. 10 days. B. 15 days. C. 20 days. D. 30 days. Question 40. Which principle of insurance ensures that an insurance policy is only valid if the policyholder has a legitimate interest in the insured property or life? A. Indemnity. B. Subrogation. C. Insurable interest. D. Utmost good faith. Question 41. Which type of homeowner's insurance policy is considered the most comprehensive and covers all perils except those specifically excluded? A. HO1 basic form. B. HO2 broad form. C. HO3 special form. D. HO5 comprehensive form. Question 42. What type of insurance policy would typically cover the contents of a storage unit rented by the insured? A. HO2 broad form. B. HO4 contents broad form. C. Personal articles floater. D. Inland marine insurance. Question 43. Under Washington law, what is the minimum liability coverage required for auto insurance? A. 10 when Titan. B. 25 if Titan. C. 36 to 15. D. 5125. Question 44. Which coverage in a personal auto policy pays for damage to the insured's car caused by events other than a collision? A. Liability coverage. Part of B. Collision coverage. C. Comprehensive coverage. D. Medical payments coverage. Part B. Question 45. Which of the following is a key principle in the underwriting process for personal lines insurance? A. Risk avoidance. B. Adverse selection. C. Risk retention. D. Subrogation. Question 46. Which type of watercraft policy coverage provides payment for bodily injuries caused by an uninsured boater? A. Liability coverage. B. Medical payments coverage. C. Uninsured boaters coverage. D. Physical damage coverage. Question 47. Which endorsement can be added to a homeowner's insurance policy to provide coverage for high-value items like jewelry or artwork? A. Replacement cost endorsement. B. Scheduled personal property endorsement. C. Inflation guard endorsement. D. Personal injury endorsement. Question 48. Which type of policy is designed to cover personal belongings while they are in transit or stored off premises? A. HO4, contents broad form. B. Personal articles floater. C. DPIT 3, special form. D. HO5, comprehensive form. Question 49. Which of the following is an example of a moral hazard in personal lines insurance? A. Living in a high crime area. B. Increasing coverage limits after a claim. C. Neglecting home maintenance. D. Deliberately causing a loss to collect insurance money. Question 50. Which coverage in a homeowner's insurance policy provides protection if someone is injured on the insured's property and sues for damages? A. Dwelling coverage. Coverage B. Personal property coverage. Coverage C. C. Loss of use coverage. Coverage D. D. Personal liability coverage. Coverage E. Question 51. Which principle of insurance states that the insured should not profit from a loss but should be restored to the same financial position as before the loss? A. Indemnity. B. Subrogation. C. Insurable interest. D. Utmost good faith. Question 52. What is the primary purpose of the National Flood Insurance Program, NFIP? A. To provide low-cost insurance for homeowners. B. To offer coverage for natural disasters other than floods. C. To reduce the financial impact of flooding. D. To promote private flood insurance policies. Question 53. Which type of insurance policy would be most appropriate for a landlord renting out a single-family home? A. HO3, special form. B. HO6, unit owner's form. C. DPIT 3, special form. D. HO4, contents broad form. Question 54. Which coverage in a personal auto policy protects against damages caused by an at-fault accident with an uninsured driver? A. Collision coverage. B. Comprehensive coverage. C. Uninsured under insured motorist coverage. D. Medical payments coverage. Question 55. Scenario. David is renting an apartment in Washington. His renter's insurance policy includes $20,000 in personal property coverage and $100,000 in liability coverage. A fire damages his apartment, destroying his personal belongings worth $15,000. How much will David's insurance policy pay for his loss? A. $15,000. B. $20,000. C. $100,000. D. $5,000. Question 56. Which of the following is NOT, a duty of the insured after an accident or loss under a personal auto policy? A. Notify the insurer promptly. B. Provide a recorded statement to the insurer. C. Cooperate with the insurer's investigation. D. Pay for the repairs out of pocket. Question 57. What is the primary function of the Washington State Office of the Insurance Commissioner? A. To sell insurance policies. B. To regulate the insurance industry. C. To represent insurance companies in legal matters. D. To provide insurance education to consumers. Question 58. Which endorsement can be added to a personal auto policy to provide coverage for rental car expenses while the insured vehicle is being repaired? A. Towing and labor costs endorsement. B. Rental reimbursement coverage. C. Gap insurance endorsement. D. Custom equipment coverage. Question 59. Which type of homeowner's insurance policy is specifically designed for older homes with a replacement cost that exceeds the market value? A. HO2 broad form. B. HO3 special form. C. HO8 modified coverage form. D. HO5 comprehensive form. Question 60. Which of the following describes the risk management technique of transferring risk to another party, such as an insurance company? A. Risk avoidance. B. Risk reduction. C. Risk retention. D. Risk transfer. Correct answer. C. To provide coverage when the at-fault driver lacks sufficient insurance. Explanation. Uninsured underinsured motorist coverage, Part C, provides protection when the at-fault driver in an accident does not have sufficient insurance to cover the damages or does not have any insurance at all. This coverage helps the insured recover costs associated with bodily injury and, in some cases, property damage. In Washington, this type of coverage is viable due to the risk of encountering drivers who may not carry adequate insurance. Correct answer. C. Flood damage. Explanation. Flood damage is typically excluded from standard homeowners insurance policies. Homeowners must purchase separate flood insurance, often through the National Flood Insurance Program, NFIP, to be protected against flood-related losses. In Washington, homeowners in flood-prone areas should consider obtaining flood insurance to ensure comprehensive protection for their property. Correct answer. A. Completion of a pre-licensing education course. Explanation. To obtain a personal lines insurance license in Washington, candidates must complete a pre-licensing education course that covers relevant insurance principles and laws. This requirement ensures that applicants have the necessary knowledge to perform their duties effectively and in compliance with state regulations. Additional requirements include passing a licensing exam and submitting an application to the Washington State Office of the Insurance Commissioner. Correct answer. D. HO6 Unit Owners Form. Explanation. The HO6 policy, or Unit Owners Form, is designed specifically for condominium owners. This policy provides coverage for personal property, interior structures, and liability. It also covers improvements and alterations made to the unit. In Washington, condo owners should have an HO6 policy to protect their unit and personal belongings, as the condo association's master policy typically covers only the building's exterior and common areas. Correct answer. A. $250,000 explanation. Sarah's insurance company will pay for the actual repair cost, which is $250,000 since it is within the coverage a limit of $300,000. The replacement cost of the house is relevant for determining the amount of insurance needed but does not affect the payout if the repair cost is less than the policy limit. In Washington, homeowners should insure their coverage. A limit reflects the replacement cost of their home to avoid being underinsured. Correct answer. C. Automobiles. Explanation. Automobiles are not typically covered under inland marine insurance policies. Coverage for automobiles is provided by personal auto policies. Inland marine insurance covers personal property that is movable or used in transit, such as jewelry, fine art, and musical instruments. In Washington, individuals with valuable personal items should consider inland marine insurance to protect against loss or damage. Correct answer. A personal umbrella policy. Explanation. A personal umbrella policy provides excess liability coverage beyond the limits of underlying policies, such as homeowners and auto insurance. This policy offers additional protection against large liability claims, providing an extra layer of security. In Washington, individuals with significant assets or high liability risk should consider a personal umbrella policy to safeguard their financial well-being. Correct answer. C. Fire. Explanation. Fire is considered a peril covered under a standard homeowner's insurance policy. Common perils include fire, theft, and windstorm. However, perils such as earthquakes and floods are typically excluded and require separate insurance policies. In Washington, homeowners should review their policy to understand the covered perils and consider additional coverage for excluded risks if necessary. Correct answer. B. 15 days. Explanation. Under Washington law, insurers must acknowledge receipt of a claim within 15 days. This regulation ensures timely communication and transparency in the claims process. The Washington State Office of the Insurance Commissioner enforces this and other regulations to protect consumers and promote fair practices in the insurance industry. Correct answer. C. Insurable interest. Explanation. Insurable interest is a principle of insurance that ensures an insurance policy is only valid if the policyholder has a legitimate interest in the insured property or life. This principle prevents moral hazard and ensures that the policyholder would suffer a financial loss if the insured event occurs. In Washington, like in other states, insurable interest is a critical requirement for the validity of insurance contracts. Correct answer. D. H05. Comprehensive form. Explanation. The H05 policy, or comprehensive form, is considered the most comprehensive homeowners insurance policy. It covers all perils except those specifically excluded, providing extensive protection for both the dwelling and personal property. In Washington, homeowners seeking broad coverage with fewer exclusions should consider an H05 policy for maximum protection. Correct answer. B. H04. Contents broad form. Explanation. The H04 policy, or contents broad form, typically covers the personal property of renters, including items stored in a rented storage unit. This policy provides protection against risks such as theft, fire, and vandalism. In Washington, renters should ensure their H04 policy covers off-premises personal property, including items stored in a storage unit. Correct answer. B. 25 if cited. Explanation. Under Washington law, the minimum liability coverage required for auto insurance is $25, $50, $10. This means $25,000 for bodily injury per person, $50,000 for bodily injury per accident, and $10,000 for property damage per accident. These minimum limits ensure that drivers have sufficient coverage to pay for damages or injuries they may cause to others in an accident. Correct answer. C. Comprehensive coverage. Explanation. Comprehensive coverage in a personal auto policy pays for damage to the insured's car caused by events other than a collision, such as theft, vandalism, fire, or natural disasters. This coverage is essential for protecting the vehicle from a wide range of risks. In Washington, drivers should consider adding comprehensive coverage to their auto insurance policy for broader protection. Correct answer. B. Adverse selection. Explanation. Adverse selection is a key principle in the underwriting process for personal lines insurance. It refers to the tendency of individuals with higher risk to seek insurance coverage more actively than those with lower risk. Underwriters aim to identify and mitigate adverse selection to maintain a balanced and profitable insurance portfolio. In Washington, understanding adverse selection helps insurers set appropriate premiums and maintain financial stability. Correct answer. C. Uninsured boaters coverage. Explanation. Uninsured boaters coverage provides payment for bodily injuries caused by an uninsured boater. This coverage is similar to uninsured motorist coverage in auto insurance and protects the insured and passengers if they are injured by a boater without adequate insurance. In Washington, individuals with watercraft should consider uninsured boaters coverage to ensure protection against such risks. Correct answer. B. Scheduled personal property endorsement. Explanation. A scheduled personal property endorsement can be added to a homeowner's insurance policy to provide coverage for high-value items like jewelry or artwork. This endorsement allows the policyholder to specifically list and insure valuable items for their full value, often with fewer coverage limitations. In Washington, homeowners with high-value personal property should consider this endorsement to ensure adequate protection. Correct answer. B. Personal articles floater. Explanation. A personal articles floater is designed to cover personal belongings while they are in transit or stored off-premises. This policy provides coverage for specific valuable items such as jewelry, cameras, and musical instruments against a wide range of perils. In Washington, individuals with high-value items that are frequently moved or stored away from home should consider personal articles floater for comprehensive protection. Correct answer. D. Deliberately causing a loss to collect insurance money. Explanation. A moral hazard in personal lines insurance occurs when an insured person deliberately causes a loss to collect insurance money. This behavior is unethical and illegal, leading to fraudulent claims. In Washington, insurers take measures to detect and prevent moral hazards to maintain the integrity of the insurance system and protect against fraud. Correct answer: D. Personal liability coverage. Coverage. Explanation: personal liability coverage. Coverage in a homeowner's insurance policy provides protection if someone is injured on the insured's property and sues for damages. This coverage helps pay for legal defense costs and any damages awarded to the injured party. In Washington, homeowners should have adequate personal liability coverage to protect against potential lawsuits and financial loss. Correct answer: A. Indemnity. Explanation: the principle of indemnity states that the insured should not profit from a loss but should be restored to the same financial position as before the loss. This principle ensures that insurance provides compensation for actual losses incurred and discourages fraudulent claims. In Washington, the principle of indemnity is fundamental to maintaining fair and equitable insurance practices. Correct answer: C. To reduce the financial impact of flooding. Explanation: the primary purpose of the National Flood Insurance Program, NFIP, is to reduce the financial impact of flooding by providing affordable flood insurance to homeowners, renters, and businesses. The NFIP aims to promote sound floodplain management practices and reduce the reliance on federal disaster assistance. In Washington, residents in flood-prone areas should consider purchasing flood insurance through the NFIP for protection against flood-related losses. Correct answer: C. DPIT 3, Special Form. Explanation: the DPIT 3 policy, or special form, is most appropriate for a landlord renting out a single-family home. This type of dwelling policy provides coverage for the structure against a broad range of perils and may include optional coverage for personal property and liability. In Washington, landlords should consider a D3 policy to protect their rental property and manage potential risks associated with renting. Correct answer: C. Uninsured underinsured motorist coverage. Explanation: uninsured underinsured motorist coverage protects against damages caused by an at-fault accident with an uninsured driver. This coverage helps cover the insured's medical expenses and property damage when the at-fault driver lacks sufficient insurance. In Washington, drivers should consider this coverage to ensure protection against uninsured or underinsured motorists. Correct answer: A. $15,000 explanation. David's renter's insurance policy will pay $15,000 for his loss, which is the actual value of his destroyed personal belongings. The policy's personal property coverage limit of $20,000 is sufficient to cover the loss. In Washington, renters should ensure their insurance policies have adequate coverage limits to protect their personal property against potential risks. Correct answer: D. Pay for the repairs out of pocket. Explanation: paying for the repairs out of pocket is not a duty of the insured under a personal auto policy. The insured is required to notify the insurer promptly, provide necessary information, and cooperate with the insurer's investigation. In Washington, following these duties ensures a smooth and efficient claims process, allowing the insurer to handle the repairs and compensation as per the policy terms. Correct answer: B. To regulate the insurance industry. Explanation: the primary function of the Washington State Office of the Insurance Commissioner is to regulate the insurance industry within the state. This includes licensing insurance agents and companies, ensuring compliance with state laws, protecting consumers, and promoting fair practices. The office also handles consumer complaints and oversees the financial stability of insurers operating in Washington. Correct answer: B. Rental reimbursement coverage. Explanation: rental reimbursement coverage can be added to a personal auto policy to provide coverage for rental car expenses while the insured vehicle is being repaired due to covered loss. This endorsement helps cover the cost of a rental vehicle, ensuring the insured has transportation during the repair period. In Washington, drivers should consider this endorsement for added convenience and peace of mind. Correct answer: C. HOA Modified Coverage Form. Explanation: the HOA policy, or Modified Coverage Form, is specifically designed for older homes with a replacement cost that exceeds the market value. This policy provides coverage based on the actual cash value of the home, considering depreciation, which makes it suitable for insuring historic or older properties. In Washington, homeowners with older homes should consider an HOA policy to ensure appropriate coverage. Correct answer: D. Risk transfer. Explanation: risk transfer is the risk management technique of transferring risk to another party, such as an insurance company. By purchasing insurance, individuals and businesses transfer the financial burden of potential losses to the insurer in exchange for premium payments. In Washington, utilizing risk transfer through insurances, a common and effective way to manage and mitigate financial risks. Question 61. Which of the following types of policies is best suited for a condominium owner? A. HO3, Special Form. B. HO4, Contents Broad Form. C. HO6, Unit Owner's Form. D. HO8, Modified Coverage Form. Question 62. Which of the following is a common exclusion in a homeowner's insurance policy? A. Fire. B. Theft. C. Flood. D. Vandalism. Question 63. Under a personal umbrella policy, what is the term for the amount the insured must pay out of pocket before the umbrella coverage begins? A. Premium. B. Deductible. C. Self-insured retention. D. Liability limit. Question 64. Scenario: Emily's home in Washington is insured under a HO3 policy. During a windstorm, a tree falls and damages her roof, causing $10,000 in repairs. Her policy has a $1,000 deductible. How much will the insurance company pay for the repairs? A. $9,000. B. $10,000. C. $8,000. D. $7,000. Question 65. Which principle of insurance requires that the insured must suffer a financial loss to make a claim? A. Indemnity. B. Subrogation. C. Insurable interest. D. Utmost good faith. Question 66. Which coverage in a homeowner's insurance policy provides payment for additional living expenses if the insured's home becomes uninhabitable due to a covered loss? A. Dwelling coverage. Coverage. B. Personal property coverage. Coverage. C. C. Loss of use coverage. Coverage. D. D. Personal liability coverage. Coverage. E. Question 67. What is the purpose of a personal umbrella policy? A. To cover physical damage to the insured's property. B. To provide additional liability coverage beyond underlying policies. C. To pay for routine maintenance of the insured's property. D. To cover the cost of personal property losses. Question 68. Which of the following is NOT covered under the medical payments coverage? Coverage F. In a homeowner's insurance policy, A. Medical expenses for a guest injured on the insured's property. B. Funeral expenses for a guest injured on the insured's property. C. Medical expenses for the insured's family members. D. Medical expenses for injuries caused by the insured's pet. Question 69. Which term refers to the reduction in value of an insured item due to wear and tear or age? A. Depreciation. B. Replacement cost. C. Actual cash value. D. The appraisal. Question 70. Which of the following perils is typically covered under a standard homeowner's insurance policy? A. Earthquake. B. Flood. C. Fire. D. War. Question 71. What is the main purpose of liability coverage in a personal auto policy? A. To pay for damages to the insured's vehicle. B. To cover medical expenses for the insured. C. To provide payment for legal liability resulting from an accident. D. To cover the cost of routine maintenance for the insured's vehicle. Question 72. Scenario: Mark has a homeowner's insurance policy in Washington with $300,000 in personal liability coverage. A guest slips on his icy driveway and suffers serious injuries, resulting in medical bills and lost wages totaling $250,000. How much will Mark's insurance policy pay for the guest's injuries? A. $0. B. $150,000. C. $250,000. D. $300,000. Question 73. Which of the following statements best describes the concept of utmost good faith in insurance? A. Both parties must act honestly and disclose all relevant information. B. The insurer must offer the lowest possible premiums. C. The insured must avoid filing any claims. D. Both parties must negotiate the terms of the policy. Question 74. Which type of policy would provide the broadest coverage for a single-family home? A. HO2 Broad Form. B. A HO3 Special Form. C. A HO4 Contents Broad Form. D. A HO8 Modified Coverage Form. Question 75. What is the purpose of the leather structures coverage? coverage. B, in a homeowner's insurance policy. A, to cover the main dwelling and attached structures. B, to cover personal property inside the home. C, to cover additional living expenses during displacement. D, to cover structures on the property not attached to the main dwelling. Question 76. Which of the following describes the primary purpose of the National Flood Insurance Program, NFIP? A, to provide low-cost auto insurance to residents. B, to offer homeowners insurance for high-risk homes. C, to provide flood insurance to property owners in flood-prone areas. D, to regulate insurance agents and brokers. Question 77. What does the term actual cash value mean in the context of insurance claims? A, the amount needed to replace damaged property with new property. B, the amount needed to repair damaged property. C, the replacement cost of the property minus depreciation. D, the original purchase price of the property. Question 78. Which coverage in a personal auto policy pays for injuries to the insured and passengers in the insured's vehicle, regardless of who is at fault? A, liability coverage, Part of B, medical payments coverage, Part B. C, uninsured underinsured motorist coverage, Part C. D, collision coverage, Part D. Question 79. Which of the following types of insurance policies would provide coverage for valuable personal property such as jewelry, fine art, or collectibles? A, homeowner's insurance policy, HA3. B, dwelling policy, DU1. C, personal articles, floater. D, personal umbrella policy. Question 80. Scenario: Lisa's home in Washington is insured under a HA5 policy. During a break-in, several high-value items are stolen, including her engagement ring worth $15,000. Her policy has a limit of $1,500 for jewelry theft. How much will Lisa receive for her stolen engagement ring? A, $0. B, $1,500. C, $15,000. D, $13,500. Question 81. What is the primary function of the State Insurance Department in Washington? A, to sell insurance policies to consumers. B, to set insurance premiums for all insurers. C, to regulate and oversee the insurance industry. D, to manage claims on behalf of insurance companies. Question 82. Which type of coverage is designed to protect against claims of bodily injury or property damage caused by the insured's negligence? A, personal liability coverage, coverage E. B, medical payments coverage, coverage F. C, personal property coverage, coverage C. D, dwelling coverage, coverage A. Question 83. Which insurance principle requires that the insurer put the insured back in the same financial position they were in before the loss occurred? A, subrogation. B, indemnity. C, insurable interest. D, utmost good faith. Question 84. Which of the following coverages would pay for damages to the insured's vehicle resulting from a collision with another vehicle? A, liability coverage, Part of B, medical payments coverage, Part B. C, uninsured underinsured motorist coverage, Part C. D, collision coverage, Part D. Question 85. Which type of homeowner's insurance policy provides named perils coverage for both the dwelling and personal property? A, HO2, broad form. B, HO3, special form. C, HO4, contents broad form. D, HO5, comprehensive form. Question 86. Scenario: James has a personal auto policy in Washington with uninsured underinsured motorist coverage. He is involved in an accident with a driver who does not have insurance. James suffers $20,000 in medical expenses. How much will his uninsured underinsured motorist coverage pay? A, $0. B, $10,000. C, $20,000. D, $15,000. Question 87. Which term refers to the transfer of an insured's rights and claims against a third party to the insurer after the insurer has paid a claim? A, indemnity. B, subrogation. C, utmost good faith. D, insurable interest. Question 88. Which of the following statements best describes the purpose of a personal articles floater? A, to provide additional liability coverage. B, to cover high-value personal property items. C, to pay for medical expenses of guests. D, to cover additional living expenses. Question 89. Which coverage in a homeowner's insurance policy provides for temporary housing and additional living expenses if the insured's home is uninhabitable due to covered loss? A. Dwelling coverage, coverage B. Personal property coverage, coverage C. C. Loss of use coverage, coverage D. D. Personal liability coverage, coverage E. Question 90. Which of the following is a common exclusion in an earthquake insurance policy? A. Fire damage caused by an earthquake. B. Structural damage to the home. C. Damage to personal property. D. Costs of rebuilding to current building codes. Correct answer. C. H06 Unit-Owner's Form. Explanation. The H06 policy, or Unit-Owner's Form, is designed specifically for condominium owners. This policy provides coverage for personal property, liability, and the interior structure of the unit, including alterations and improvements. In Washington, condominium owners should opt for an H06 policy to ensure they have appropriate coverage for their unique needs. Correct answer. C. Flood. Explanation. Flood is a common exclusion in a homeowner's insurance policy. Standard policies do not cover flood damage. Instead, homeowners must purchase separate flood insurance, often through the National Flood Insurance Program, NFIP. In Washington, residents in flood-prone areas should consider obtaining flood insurance to protect against the specific risk. Correct answer. C. Self-insured retention. Explanation. Self-insured retention is the amount the insured must pay out of pocket before the umbrella coverage begins. It functions similarly to a deductible but applies to umbrella policies. In Washington, individuals seeking higher liability limits through an umbrella policy should understand the concept of self-insured retention and its implications for out-of-pocket costs. Correct answer. A. $9,000 explanation. The insurance company will pay $9,000 for the repairs, which is the total repair cost of $10,000 minus the $1,000 deductible. In Washington, homeowners with an HO3 policy should be aware of their deductibles and how they affect the amount the insurer will pay after a covered loss. Correct answer. C. Insurable interest. Explanation. The principle of insurable interest requires that the insured must suffer a financial loss to make a claim. This principle ensures that insurance contracts are valid and enforceable, as the insured has a legitimate financial interest in the property or person being insured. In Washington, having an insurable interest is crucial for policyholders to receive compensation for covered losses. Correct answer. C. Loss of use coverage, coverage D. Explanation. Loss of use coverage, coverage D, provides payment for additional living expenses if the insured's home becomes uninhabitable due to covered loss. This coverage helps cover the cost of temporary housing, meals, and other related expenses. In Washington, homeowners should ensure their policy includes adequate loss of use coverage for financial support during displacement. Correct answer. B. To provide additional liability coverage beyond underlying policies. Explanation. The purpose of a personal umbrella policy is to provide additional liability coverage beyond the limits of the insured's underlying policies, such as homeowners or auto insurance. This policy offers broader protection against significant liability claims and lawsuits. In Washington, individuals seeking extra liability protection should consider a personal umbrella policy. Correct answer. C. Medical expenses for the insured's family members. Explanation. Medical payments coverage. Coverage F in a homeowner's insurance policy does not cover medical expenses for the insured's family members. It is designed to cover medical expenses for guests or other individuals injured on the insured's property, regardless of fault. In Washington, homeowners should understand the scope of medical payments coverage to ensure appropriate protection for their guests. Correct answer. A. Depreciation. Explanation. Depreciation refers to the reduction in value of an insured item due to wear and tear or age. It is an important factor in determining the actual cash value of a damaged or a lost item. In Washington, policyholders should be aware of how depreciation affects their claim settlements and the differences between replacement cost and actual cash value. Correct answer. C. Fire. Explanation. A standard homeowner's insurance policy typically covers fire as a peril. Other perils, such as earthquakes and floods, usually require separate policies or endorsements. War is generally excluded from coverage. In Washington, homeowners should review their policies to understand which perils are covered and consider additional coverage if needed. Correct answer. C. To provide payment for legal liability resulting from an accident. Explanation. The main purpose of liability coverage in a personal auto policy is to provide payment for legal liability resulting from an accident. This coverage includes bodily injury and property damage to third parties for which the insured is responsible. In Washington, drivers must carry liability coverage to comply with state laws and protect themselves from financial loss in case of an accident. Correct answer. C. $250,000 explanation. Mark's insurance policy will pay $250,000 for the guest's injuries, which is the total amount of medical bills and lost wages resulting from the incident. The personal liability coverage in his homeowner's insurance policy is sufficient to cover the full amount. In Washington, having adequate personal liability coverage is crucial to protect against significant financial loss from liability claims. Correct answer. A. Both parties must act honestly and disclose all relevant information. Explanation. The concept of utmost good faith in insurance means that both parties, the insurer and the insured, must act honestly and disclose all relevant information. This principle ensures transparency and trust in the insurance contract. In Washington, utmost good faith is essential for fair dealings and accurate underwriting and claims processes. Correct answer. 74. B. HO3 Special Form. Explanation. The HO3 policy, or special form, provides the broadest coverage for a single-family home. It offers all-risk coverage for the dwelling, meaning it covers all perils except those specifically excluded in the policy. This is in contrast to the HO2 broad form, which covers only named perils. In Washington, homeowners often prefer HO3 policies for their comprehensive coverage. Correct answer. D. To cover structures on the property not attached to the main dwelling. Explanation. The other structures coverage B in a homeowner's insurance policy provides coverage for structures on the property that are not attached to the main dwelling. This includes items such as detached garages, sheds, and fences. In Washington, homeowners should ensure they have adequate coverage B to protect these additional structures on their property. Correct answer. C. To provide flood insurance to property owners in flood-prone areas. Explanation. The primary purpose of the National Flood Insurance Program, NFIP, is to provide flood insurance to property owners in flood-prone areas. The NFIP aims to reduce the financial impact of flooding by offering affordable flood insurance coverage. In Washington, residents in areas prone to flooding should consider obtaining flood insurance through the NFIP. Correct answer. C. The replacement cost of the property minus depreciation. Explanation. The actual cash value, CAV, refers to the replacement cost of the property minus depreciation. A CV takes into account the age and condition of the property at the time of loss, resulting in a lower payout compared to replacement cost. In Washington, policyholders should understand the difference between a CV and replacement cost to make informed decisions about their coverage. Correct answer. B. Medical payments coverage, Part B. Explanation. Medical payments coverage, Part B, in a personal auto policy pays for injuries to the insured and passengers in the insured's vehicle, regardless of who is at fault. This coverage helps with medical expenses resulting from an auto accident. In Washington, drivers should consider adding medical payments coverage to their policies for additional protection. Correct answer. C. Personal articles floater. Explanation. A personal articles floater provides coverage for valuable personal property such as jewelry, fine art, or collectibles. This type of policy offers broader protection and higher limits than standard homeowners insurance policies. In Washington, individuals with high-value items should consider a personal articles floater to ensure adequate coverage for their valuables. Correct answer. B. $1,500 explanation. Lisa will receive $1,500 for her stolen engagement ring, which is the policy limit for jewelry theft under her HO5 policy. To fully cover high-value items, Lisa should have scheduled personal property endorsements or a personal articles floater. In Washington, policyholders should review their coverage limits and consider additional endorsements for valuable items. Correct answer. C. To regulate and oversee the insurance industry. Explanation. The primary function of the state insurance department in Washington is to regulate and oversee the insurance industry. This includes licensing insurers and agents, reviewing and approving policy forms and rates, and ensuring compliance with state insurance laws. The department works to protect consumers and maintain a fair and competitive insurance market. Correct answer: A. Personal liability coverage. Coverage. Explanation: Personal liability coverage. Coverage in a homeowner's insurance policy is designed to protect against claims of bodily injury or property damage caused by the insured's negligence. This coverage helps pay for legal defense costs and any damages awarded to the claimant. In Washington, homeowners should ensure they have adequate personal liability coverage to protect against potential lawsuits. Correct answer: B. Indemnity. Explanation: The principle of indemnity requires that the insurer put the insured back in the same financial position they were in before the loss occurred. This means that the insurance payout should not result in a profit for the insured but should compensate for the actual loss. In Washington, the principle of indemnity is fundamental to fair and equitable claims settlements. Correct answer: D. Collision coverage, Part D. Explanation: Collision coverage, Part D, in a personal auto policy pays for damages to the insured's vehicle resulting from a collision with another vehicle or object. This coverage is important for protecting the insured's vehicle against physical damage from accidents. In Washington, drivers should consider adding collision coverage to their policies for comprehensive protection. Correct answer: A. HO2, broad form. Explanation: The HO2 policy, or broad form, provides named perils coverage for both the dwelling and personal property. This means that only the perils specifically listed in the policy are covered. In Washington, homeowners who prefer more predictable and limited coverage may opt for an HO2 policy, although it is less comprehensive than the HO3 or HO5 forms. Correct answer: C. $20,000. Explanation: James's uninsured underinsured motorist coverage will pay $20,000 for his medical expenses, as this coverage is designed to protect against bodily injury and property damage caused by uninsured or underinsured drivers. In Washington, drivers should consider adding uninsured underinsured motorist coverage to their policies for additional protection against such scenarios. Correct answer: B. Subrogation. Explanation: Subrogation refers to the transfer of an insured's rights and claims against the third party to the insurer after the insurer has paid a claim. This allows the insurer to seek reimbursement from the responsible party. In Washington, subrogation helps ensure that the party responsible for the loss ultimately bears the financial burden. Correct answer: B. To cover high-value personal property items. Explanation: The purpose of a personal articles floater is to cover high-value personal property items such as jewelry, fine art, and collectibles. This floater provides broader protection and higher limits than standard homeowners insurance policies. In Washington, individuals with valuable items should consider a personal articles floater to ensure adequate coverage. Correct answer: C. Loss of use coverage. Coverage D. Explanation: Loss of use coverage. Coverage D in a homeowner's insurance policy provides for temporary housing and additional living expenses if the insured's home is uninhabitable due to covered loss. This coverage helps mitigate the financial impact of displacement. In Washington, homeowners should ensure they have adequate loss of use coverage for financial support during such events. Correct answer: D. Costs of rebuilding to current building codes. Explanation: A common exclusion in an earthquake insurance policy is the cost of rebuilding to current building codes. While the policy may cover structural damage and damage to personal property, upgrades to meet new codes are typically excluded. In Washington, homeowners should be aware of these exclusions and consider additional coverage if necessary.